My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you're here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. You probably have had the experience, like I have had sometimes, when you are well informed about a specific topic, whether because you've studied that in depth, whether because you're an expert, you work in a certain area, or you are from a certain country, or you've been to certain places. When you read about something related to that in the newspapers, many times you find yourself asking yourselves, really? Like these people actually know what they're talking about? Because there's so many mistakes. Not always, of course, but many times. The generalizations, taking things out of context, or taking one little thing that they saw and pretending that that is the reality of the place or the situation. And you keep reading the article and you just keep like, man, like a lot of this is completely wrong. Or they got confused. And that's normal because you know a lot about it. And the people who wrote the article many times don't know too much about it. They took something, they heard something, they read something, and they just went ahead and published an article about it without really fact checking. And this is an interesting experience because when we read other stuff in the internet, on the newspapers, or we hear things from people and we don't know much about it, we kind of take that as a fact. And the newspaper tells us this person did such and such, and we believe it because we don't really know better. Or we hear some friend saying something about this other guy, what he did, what he said, and we kind of believe it. And we don't fact check, we don't go deep, we don't have that healthy questioning, which again, we can't have for everything, right? If someone is talking about plants and gardening or the phases of the moon, maybe we don't care too much about it and we're not going to take too much time going and finding out all the truth about it. But when it comes to important things, especially when it comes to our faith and the church and the teachings of the church, we need to go deep. We need to go to the source. We can't just take what people say as the truth. Even people who are, maybe we think, well informed and well intentioned. This is a little bit what we see today in the gospel. It's about Herod, the tetrarch. Obviously, Herod is not an example of good moral life, but the fact that he is in the gospel in this God in the scene, I think could be interesting because maybe our Lord is trying to tell us something. So Herod has heard about all that was happening, right? He's hearing about Jesus who is working miracles. He's hearing about Jesus who is so amazing. And he hears what people around him are telling him. Some people say it is John that has raised from the dead. Others were saying Elijah has appeared, and others were saying that one of the ancient prophets had risen. But Herod is skeptical about those things. He doesn't take that as the truth, and he wants to know the truth, kind of. And he says, John I beheaded. Who then is this about whom I hear such things? He's kind of asking the right question, even though, again, it's not clear that he has the right intention or that he really wants to find the truth, because apparently he never got to the truth. He never got to believe in Jesus Christ. But at least he's asking and he's going deeper. He's not just taking whatever people are telling him, that it's John raised from the dead, that it's Elijah, that it's another prophet. He doesn't buy that, right? It's like, well, okay, that doesn't sound convincing. And in a way, I think we need to learn from Herod. And when we hear things out there, because we're going to hear a lot of stuff, whether it's in the newspapers, whether it's in the internet, whether it's in a blog, we're going to hear and read stuff about the church, stuff about the Pope, stuff about the bishop or a priest. And we can't just buy into it just like immediately. Oh, I read it in a blog. Even if the person is kind of trustworthy, be careful. Think about it. Ask yourself, okay, this person is saying that the Pope said this. Let's see. Let's go to the source. Let's go to the actual homily the Pope preached. Or they're saying that the USCCB is this and that. Well, let's go to the source. Let's go to the USCCB website. Let's look at the documents. Let's see what they are really saying. Or sometimes people say, well, oh, Jesus said this in the gospel. And I've heard all kinds of stuff, right? People say it's in the Bible. Let's go and look at the Bible. Don't just take that as the truth. Go and read the Bible by yourself. Go to the source. Look for the truth. What does this really mean? What does the church teach about this specifically? What is the Pope saying? Why is he saying it? What is the context? What is the background? Is this a matter of faith? Is this a dogma? Or is this something just personal opinion that he has? What is the teaching of Jesus Christ on this? And then we go to the truth, right? And we start making our own opinion about it. Of course, the church is there to help us, and sometimes we need to make an act of faith, right? Especially when it comes to teaching magisterial teachings, when it comes to dogmas, very especially. Certain things we're not going to be able to understand completely, right? The Holy Trinity or Immaculate Conception. The fact that someone is in heaven, right? A canonization. There's a lot of good reasons around it, and we can go to the fathers of the church, and we can go to the saints, and we can try to understand. Many other things are things of common sense, of understanding of the church tradition. And it's good that we understand, that we make ourselves a good, well grounded opinion. And we don't just let ourselves be swayed by whatever's being said out there. Because especially nowadays, there's so much information out there on the internet, so many blogs, so many people talking, YouTube, so many influencers. Even in what it comes to the church and the faith, we can hear pretty much everything about anything. Go to the source. Go to the catechism. Go to the Bible. Go to what the saints have said. And that way we preserve our faith, we form our conscience, we form our intellect, and we're able to guide others to the truth. Jesus, we want to know the truth. Jesus, we want to have a well-formed conscience and intellect. Because the truth will set us free. The truth will guide us to Jesus Christ. And lies or half-truths will just make us confused and might drive us away from our faith. Let's ask our Mother Mary for guidance, for help in this as in everything else. I thank you, my Lord, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help to put them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.